From Learfield on the Mustangs Sports Network, live from Humperdinck's on Greenville Avenue, this is the Fast Track with Tim Jankovich. Brought to you by Humperdinck's on Greenville Avenue with daily food and drink specials. Join the MVP Club today. NTTA. Save money on North Texas toll roads with an SMU toll tag. Nissan. Proud supporter of college athletics. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Innovation that excites. Also by Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Proud sponsors of SMU Athletics. Texas Health Resources. Now over 350 North Texas locations. Find us at texashealth.org. And by Credit Union of Texas. Be a part of something unexpected. CUTX.org. Experience more. Here is your host, Rich Phillips.
Scott Garner in for Rich Phillips tonight. It is the SMU Fast Track. Live here at Humperdinck's in Greenville. Scott Garner alongside the head basketball coach for the SMU men's basketball team, Coach Tim Jankovich. And Coach Jankovich, thanks again for joining us tonight. What a great week of basketball for the Mustangs.
Yes, it was. My pleasure to be here. I'm glad you're here. I was getting a little tired of Rich, so this is no, I'm kidding, but I'm glad you're here.
Well, I tell you, we're glad you're here because this SMU team playing some absolutely tremendous basketball. SMU now 17-4, Coach, and 7-1 in conference play. Not only do you guys beat UConn, you beat Houston. You steamrolled them, Coach. Absolutely demolished them. Unbelievable.
It was a good week. I'll say that. From where I was sitting, it was a very, very, very good week. I thought it was a very important week, although every single one of them is. But for some reason, I kind of had this one as a real key week in the season, and our guys just couldn't have played better. And it was a lot of fun.
I tell you, I don't know if you understand this, but you have quite a following here at SMU already, Coach. There were some fans here that got here before I got here, and I was here an hour and a half ago. They were ready for Coach Jankovich to walk in, and the first thing they wanted to know, have some good news about Jeray Foster. How is he doing, Coach?
Well, first of all, I appreciate that very much. I think they probably just had the time wrong. I don't think it's that they're that big of fans. Jeray is questionable. I'm not sure what his status will be. Obviously, we have 7 scholarship players, and he's one of them. So it's very important. Our margin of error. That's probably not the right word, but we don't have much latitude. We don't have much wiggle room, and every single day you go to practice, you just hope everyone gets through it okay. And Warren gives me the report every morning, and my heart skips a beat to say every time I get his text to see what's going on. But we're hoping, but we don't know as of right now what his status will be Wednesday.
And with his availability in question, he didn't play that much. I don't think he played at all in the second half the other day against Houston. You got some minutes from Ben Amelagu, and Wilfong came in the first half. But Ben Amelagu really played well and stepped up, Coach. Was that unexpected?
No, it's totally expected. He's been actually really played very well all conference season long. He's maybe had a little bit of a slow start shooting the ball, but he's a heck of a player. I mean, he's good in a lot of areas. He's very valuable even when he's not scoring. I think he's one guy that's really undervalued by many on our team, but not by me. So I was thrilled to see him have the offensive game. But if you really watch him close, he does a lot of good things out there, and he's obviously a very, very important piece to our puzzle. We don't have a lot of pieces, but he's very important, I can tell you for sure.
Well, you ended up with a big win over Houston on Saturday, 85-64. SMU plus 12 in rebounds in that game, plus 7 in assists. You guys were plus 1 in turnovers. You were plus 6 in steals. You guys had 9 steals. Houston only forced 3 steals in that game. And you were plus 10 in points in the paint. And even with Dan Rad-Knowles getting his temper up occasionally, you guys were able to really do a job.
Those are good numbers. If we could have those numbers each and every game, I would be thrilled. But, some of the numbers reflect your team and your culture. Sometimes games are different than others, and you play better or you shoot better. But some numbers that to me reflect how hard you play are rebounds. I mean, I think that's always a reflection of how hard you tried. I call it the triometer, and we really emphasize it. I mean, to me, it's about your will and your fight, and we are a great rebounding team. And if you look at assists, not every night if you don't have a lot of assists does it mean that you were selfish, because there's different ways to play defense and make it difficult to get assists. You can make people kind of play one-on-one, and you can take away the receivers. But over the course of a year, if you see a team with a lot of assists, it means that their culture is one of unselfishness and caring more about winning than their individual play. And so those are two areas that we usually excel, and that's one of the reasons that I have so much fun coaching this team. Great effort, great unselfishness, and to me that's the foundation of any basketball team.
No doubt about it, Coach. This is our first segment tonight. It is the Fast Track. We are live here at Humperdinck's on Greenville in Dallas. Our opening segment brought to you by the Lyle School of Engineering, offering master's programs through on-campus and distance education options with tuition reductions available for military personnel across the globe. Check it out, lyle.smu.edu. Now, they say that most basketball teams typically take on the demeanor of their coach. I mean, you look back at that Houston game, Coach, from the opening tip. I can't remember if it was Ben Moore or Jeray Foster, but somebody went and tried to track down a loose ball on the opening tip. You're getting max effort out of everybody. Coach, that's hard to do. How do you do that?
Well, I appreciate it. They play a lot harder than I do. I can promise you. I'm just watching, but this is a group that they just have a lot of pride, first of all. There's a lot of pride in their uniform and in this program and what has taken place over the last few years, and you can feel it. It's not a little deal; it is a big deal to them. And I think when you watch them play, that comes out. At the same time, I think they're a high character group, very high character, and so that leads to the unselfishness and those kind of things. Given effort plays that maybe you don't get credit for, but you see them all over the place. If I'm not mistaken, the very first play of the game, Houston ran a little wrinkle play that we'd never seen, and we didn't guard it very well. We got confused and ended up recovering and getting a double team, and they called a timeout. That's the first time I've ever seen a timeout on the first possession of a game. But our guys, just on the fly, figured out a way to trap him and make something good happen. But that's their mentality.
When's the last time you forced an opponent to call 4 timeouts in the first 20 minutes?
The answer to that would be never, ever, ever, never have I seen a team out of timeouts in the first half.
It was incredible.
Never, ever, never.
But they had to take them.
Well, I think they had to take some of them. I would disagree with the first timeout just because you got trapped and called timeout. I told our guys, don't be doing that. At least throw it off their leg or their head or something. Don't just call timeout and surrender. But you're right. Some of the other ones they needed because of the runs that we were on, and so they were probably, needed timeouts.
Well, before we take our first timeout, I think that was the play where it was a 50-50 ball, and they were diving after it, and I think they wanted to save the possession, called the timeout.
That's right.
Most coaches will tell their team, hey, we don't call a timeout like that unless it's the second half. Do you tell your team that?
Yes, I don't like them to call a timeout in the first half.
Okay.
I really don't, because on plays like that, because to me the first half timeout that you're going to burn anyway, for me, is a momentum timeout if you need it. It's just one that you want to carry, and if the game starts getting away from you a little bit, you want to use that because it doesn't cost you anything. It's not carrying over to the second half. I am basically by nature a saver in general, and I'm a saver of timeouts. I like to try to save them. I like to try to play through a run if we can. I don't like to burn them because I think they're most valuable late in games, when you really need some strategy and make sure everybody's on point. But there are times when the game's getting away from you. You got to do something, But I don't want to call a timeout very often unless I feel like there's an adjustment that can really be made, other than when the other team is in a big run, particularly on the road.
Yeah.
When the crowd is really in the game, I think that's obviously a time when most people need to use them.
And you really haven't had to deal with that much because you've been up in so many games. I was talking to Herman Hudson a second ago. I was looking at the numbers. You realize, Coach, in 15 of the 21 games, we've at least led by 10 points. In 10 of the 21 games, we've been up by 20. And in 7 of the 21 games, we've had a lead of at least 29 points.
Wow. I didn't know that. No, you're crunching some serious numbers there. But I can tell you this. you do discover this when you're winning. You have a lot of timeouts left at the end of the game.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You just have them. We have a whole big bank account of them, but you can't use them. We can't use them. They're worthless now.
That's funny. It makes a difference. I don't think a lot of people understand that you go from 5 timeouts a game to 4. They make you have to use at least one of them in the first half, or you lose it. Yep. If you only have 4 timeouts in the game, that's a big difference.
It really is. I don't like that rule because you're looking at 3 the second half. I prefer the old rule. Nobody checked with me before they made the change, so a lot of other things. So I have no say in that whatsoever. But it is a little bit of an adjustment, and I guess they're wanting speed of play or whatever. I don't want to make anybody mad, but I think there's too many media timeouts. I think the flow of the game, it just stops, and and then you'll see this every now and then. I know this fans hate this is. It's 16, 12, 8, and 4. Those are the media timeouts. The first stoppage after those, you're going to get a media timeout. So if someone calls a timeout near there, and then you go to a timeout, and then you come back, and a few plays later, you're in another timeout. It's that's not expediting the game, but there is money to be made. I know in the timeouts, but I would prefer less media and more discretionary ones.
Yeah, but you've had so many teams on the ropes.
Yeah, that's true. So it's good that they're out, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Like the other night. You're right. So maybe I should have voted for it. How smart am I?
All right. It is the Fast Track with head coach Tim Jankovich of the SMU Mustangs. Tonight's Coaches Show being presented in part by the Sewell Automotive Companies. Visit Sewell.com to see the showcase of 9 premier luxury automotive marks. Sewell Automotive Companies, obsessed with service since 1911. We'll take our first time out. We will be back in a moment. It's the SMU Fast Track live at Humperdinck's on Greenville in Dallas.
Ruthie's Rolling Cafe, serving up the best grilled cheese in Texas. For 4 years in a row, Ruthie's has been voted the best food truck of SMU and Park Cities. Ruthie's is a crowd favorite among the ponies. You can find the food trucks rolling on SMU campus, SMU home games, and you can find them regularly at Clyde Warren Park. To book Ruthie's for a private party, visit their site at ruthiesfoodtrucks.com. Because after all, there ain't no party like a grilled cheese party. So, seize the cheese.
The Century 21 brand has become synonymous with one name, Mike Bowman, honorably distinguished to retain the #1 office in the world in closed transactions. Not just once or twice, but an astounding 16 times. And they continue to be a proud supporter of the SMU Mustangs. Discover for yourself how the dedicated team at Century 21, Mike Bowman, can make your real estate transaction the best you will ever experience at c21bowman.com.
Go coast to coast with the versatile 2017 Nissan Rogue. Display some fancy footwork with available intelligent all-wheel drive. And go for 3 with an available third row for seating up to 7. So next time you show up to support your team on the court, bring your A game and show up in a Rogue. Take on game day. Get to Nissan, proud partner of the SMU Mustangs.
If you're an SMU fan, you bring your game face to the game. But if you're an SMU super fan, your car brings its game face too. By wearing an official red and blue SMU toll tag. Because super fans know nothing says you pony up everywhere you drive like an NTTA SMU toll tag, just $19.99. To get yours, stop by SMU Parking and ID Services or any toll tag store location. The North Texas Toll Tag Authority. Get there smarter.
Hey SMU fans, it's never too late to score delicious pizza with Papa John's 8 after 8 deal. All through SMU basketball season, you can get a large 3-topping pizza for only $8 after 8 p.m. Great for game night or any night. Order online at papajohns.com with promo code 8 after 8. Pony up.
Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official sponsor of SMU Athletics.
Not valid with other discounts, prices, participation, and delivery area may vary. Taxes and fees extra. Are you serving or have served our country? SMU's Lyle School of Engineering offers master's programs and tuition reductions for military personnel across the globe. For veterans and those in the uniformed services of the U.S., our distance education programs provide a way to help engineer our nation's future. It's just one way SMU is saying thank you to those who protect and serve our country. Check it out at lyle.smu.edu.
Back here at Humperdinck's in Greenville. We are live here in Dallas. Scott Garner alongside head coach Tim Jankovich, the head coach of the SMU Mustangs. It is the Fast Track. We are live, and we do this every Monday night here at Humperdinck's. Had another great crowd here tonight, Coach, and we certainly do appreciate everybody coming out. I know that makes you and the staff feel good.
Thank you very much. Yes,
and
absolutely.
Don't forget the Mustangs. We've got a big game coming up with Central Florida. We're going to get to UCF here in just a moment. But also, don't forget, this season we'll be taking questions on all things Mustangs basketball here on the Fast Track with head coach Tim Jankovich. There's 3 ways that you can get a question in. You can hit the Ask the Coach button on SMUMustangs.com, and you can submit your question that way. You can also submit your question on Twitter using the hashtag AskTim, or you can join us live right here in person each week here at Humperdinck's on Greenville from 7 to 8 on Mondays as we dedicate some time for questions from the audience. Talked about number crunching just a second ago, Coach. Wanted to mention to you, too, that in 6 of the last 7 conference games, we've had at least a 21-point lead. This team's shooting well as of late, 48% in 4 of the last 6 games. A lot of threes against Houston. SMU 13 of 27. Did you expect us to shoot that many threes on Saturday?
Well, going into a game, you don't know how the other team is going to play you, so there's a lot of factors. One is, are they going to play man-to-man, or are they going to zone? And then, you know, a lot of people think, well, if somebody zones you, you're for sure going to get a lot of three-point shots. But what's going on a lot around the country now is a lot of people actually will play a zone to try to take you out of your three-point shooting, and they'll chase you off the line, and they'll really overrun you and try to make you dribble inside the line and shoot with a zone kind of behind it. So there's a factor there. There's another factor of how a team plays man-to-man. They can choose kind of what I was saying before. So let's say there's penetration. You have a choice to make. Do you come off shooters and try to help on the penetration, which allows a lot of three-point kickouts, or do you stay with the shooters and try to have, like, especially if you have a shot blocker, you just leave him in there and see if a guy can make a play at the rim. So what I'm trying to say, very long story short, is that you don't ever know going into a game how they're going to choose to play you. So what you do is you prepare an offense or offenses that it doesn't matter how they play you. You just make a read and then you play from there. So it just so happened the other night we got a lot of threes, and we hit a lot of threes, and we practice a lot of threes, and we like them a lot. And so it is a great weapon. I love having a team where you have a lot of different guys that can make shots, because if you only rely on 1 or 2 shooters, even the best shooters don't have great shooting nights every night, and so you're really at a loss on the nights that they're cold. But we have a team of, as you can tell, many guys that can get in a heat up, and so the fire can come from anywhere, and that's one of the many fun things about this team.
Well, this is a tough game coming up this week, Coach. You've got to go on the road to Orlando. You take on UCF, who's 14-5 this year. This is one of the harder games that we've had. They're 5-2 in conference play. You've never seen Central Florida play. They're tall and gangly. In addition to, a 7'5" Taco Fall?
7'6".
7'6".
Yeah, don't cheat him.
Yeah, I don't want to shortchange him.
Nope.
The last person I saw that looked like this was Manute Bol in the NBA. He sort of reminds you of this guy. They're tall and gangly, but they're not very fast. They do like to pack the paint. They'll run a zone. How do we approach them?
Well, that's a $1 million question right now. They'll play man to man, and they'll play zone, and they'll put Taco plays half the game basically. He plays 20 minutes. So you're looking at 20 minutes of a 7'6" guy standing at about 8 feet and doesn't leave there. So you almost can't score 12 feet and in when he's in the game. Their field goal percentage defense for the season is 34%. I've never seen it. I mean, that's as low as I've ever seen. What makes me able to breathe a little is in the league they're around 39%, which is more just that's really good, but I mean, it's not crazy good. They've held teams to like 11 points and a half at their place. They've held teams to 20% shooting for the game. They are chasing you off the line because they have an incredible shot blocker. So it is a tough chore. What you end up having to do is hit a lot of what we call mid-range shots, off the dribble, and those are tough. But I think we've got guys that can do that. And then you have to scheme a little bit against the size that you're going to face for 20 minutes of the 40-minute game.
I was looking back at some of the stats here. We have created some turnovers. We've forced at least 10 turnovers in 4 of the last 6 games. Can we get turnovers on defense and get run-out layups and wear them out?
Wear them out with we don't have a lot of guys. We don't wear many people out. We hope we don't get worn out. That's one of our strategies, I can tell you for sure. We are not trying to wear anyone out. Believe me, other people are trying to wear us out. They know our numbers, and of course we talked about Jure. We don't know that situation, so we may be even one shorter than normal. They are a little turnover prone. At the same time, this is definitely not a time when you're going to try to stretch your defense and trap and press because you have no depth. And whenever you get broken floors and you allow numbers, 4-on-3s and 5-on-4s and 3-on-2s, a lot of fouling takes place in broken floors. So we can't afford many broken floors, so we can't afford to gamble or to trap very much. We have to be really solid to make sure that we can keep the guys that we have in the game for as long as we can.
Are you surprised more teams don't press us, knowing that?
That would be a way to speed the game for sure. Well, I say that only if you're forcing turnovers. But in college basketball, if you really watch around the country, there's games on all over the place all the time. There's really not very much full court pressing, and the reason is the better the players, the better you can attack those kind of pressures. And so if you really look what a press really is, it's saying, you know what, we're going to put 2 guys on the ball. And if the guy on the ball is good enough to get it out of the trap, now we're going to play 4 against 3. And 4 against 3 in college basketball is not good. And that's why you just look around, not many people press. I mean, almost no one conference play is going to get in a full court press. In high school, you see it a lot because, high school players, you can get sped up a lot easier than you can in college. And then you watch the NBA and you almost never see a press. They're just like they almost laugh at it sometimes. So that's kind of what that's just the levels of play and most people's philosophy.
They don't press us much. Do you practice breaking the press much?
Yeah, we practice every day. We used to practice every day. We're shortening our practices down quite a bit because of our numbers. But
how long was that practice before Houston?
It was about 15 minutes. It was about It was honestly, I think we shot for 8 minutes, and then we did 5-on-0 for 7 minutes, and then we talked. So if you count talking and going over a lot of things, then it was much longer than 15 minutes. But as far as if you're counting calories, I think we burned about 16 calories. I just want them rested. We played Thursday, and we played Saturday, and I just these guys are playing 38, 39 minutes. I want to make sure they had their legs. So some of our practices are pretty short. Do
you try to keep our system simple enough to where you don't have to go out there and run team every day like that?
Yeah, that's and I don't know if our system is, I wouldn't think it's simple, but it's been building all year long. So the habits are pretty deep, and we have been for months covering a lot of things, and now a lot of it's second nature. So now one of the ways we shorten practice is, let's say our whole package is, X, we'll do maybe half of X or a third of X today, just a reminder, and then maybe tomorrow it's the other third or the other half or whatever, so that, it's staying fresh enough, but it's not something that we have to do every single thing that is in our system every day. We definitely don't have to do that.
As Quincy Acey one time, I think he's in the D-League now. He played for Baylor and went on and played in the NBA. I said, Quincy, how many plays did Scott Drew have for you guys at Baylor? And he said, well, we had about 50 plays that we ran. We actually had 50 plays installed, but we only ran 25 because Coach Drew could only remember 25.
That's pretty good.
How many plays do you have?
I can only remember 2, so we have 2. No, I'm kidding. I haven't counted them. I will tell you that the way our system is built is we have almost categories in a way. So you have a certain category, and there's several plays that branch off of that. So it's a wrinkle and maybe. So we show you this, and we know that if you cover it this way, we have these like 3 counters or whatever. So
Okay.
it's kind of like one play always has 3 or 4 things in it.
Did I see you holding a play card the other day?
I always do. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I always have a play card I always draw up before every game. I never answered your question. We probably have 25, 30 plays, probably, or something like that. But we also have modes. There's a difference between a play and a mode. I like modes a lot. A lot of times we play out of what I call a mode, and that means that within the whole shot clock, we're going to keep kind of doing the same thing over and over again for the length of that clock and trying to expose what we're trying to get exposed. A play is something that's usually 1, 2, or 3 passes, and then it's over, and then you have to default into something, okay? And that would be for us a mode. You would go into a mode behind it. So we have several modes that we play out of, and we have several set plays. And so what I do is try to figure out, are we better off in the modes tonight, or are we better off in set plays? And then that's just kind of how it goes.
Hey, speaking of modes, your guards are really managing the clock well, especially late in the game when you've got to go into a different. Well, you don't want to inside a play. You don't want to initiate the play until under 10. It seems like they're doing a good job with that.
Yeah, pretty good. We have a couple false motions that we have that when we do want to run a little bit of clock, we just kind of piddle. We just piddle around. It's organized piddling around is what it is. So we usually go to that with the lead late.
Practicing for 15 minutes, what else can you do?
What else do you have? Yeah, so we do have, that's part of it, and a lot of teams have that. We have that. We have bright guys as well, and they know, for the most part, although we have had several games at the end of the half where we had last shot, and I'm yelling last shot as they go running up the floor and casting up a shot. That wasn't the greatest, but we're pretty darn good, like you say, late in games.
All right, well, we'll take a break, and we will continue here from Humperdinck's in Greenville here in Dallas. Fast Track with Tim Jankovich, presented by the Credit Union of Texas. Credit Union of Texas, founded in 1931. CUTX, proud to be your financial partner on and off the floor. Experience more at CUTX.org. Credit Union of Texas, a proud partner of SMU Mustangs basketball. We'll be back in a moment.
Maggiano's Little Italy specializes in serving lavish portions of authentic Italian-American cuisine. The menu is large and varied, offering homemade pastas, signature salads, prime steaks, fresh fish, and memorable desserts. Maggiano's Little Italy treats you like you've been going there forever, even on your first visit. Not only do they have incredible lunches and dinners, they're also a perfect choice for a banquet of any size. Come as you are for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. We're a time worth having. At Maggiano's Little Italy, you get more of everything. Maggiano's is located at North Park Mall in Dallas.
Business is a game, and if you want to win, you have to be faster, smarter, and more focused than the competition. Which is why SMU Cox offers the Fast Track 1-year MBA, designed to launch your career in just 12 months. Learn from world-class faculty, study with driven peers, and connect to a global alumni network spanning 80 countries. The Fast Track 1-year MBA, a major career highlight, only from SMU Cox. More online at coxgrad.com.
You found that special someone to spend the rest of your life with. But where do you start with often overwhelming wedding ceremony and reception needs? One call to the rental experts at M&M Event Rentals will quickly ease your event anxiety as you learn about renting your tent, tables, chairs and linen, and even stunning custom floral table centerpieces, all from one company with decades of experience and professionalism. Visit them online at mmspecialevents.com and like them on Facebook to see the wonderful ways they can enrich your wedding celebrations.
Nothing works up an appetite more than a nail-biting, on the edge of your seat, fan-roaring Mustang basketball game. So after we swish that buzzer-beating shot, swing by Ruth's Chris for our 3-course menu, starting at just $44.95. Enjoy a complete meal that includes a starter, delicious entree, personal side dish, and, of course, some decadent dessert. Eat like a winner tonight and make your Ruth's reservation at our North Dallas location or in our new spot in Uptown at Cedar Springs and Harwood.
Go coast to coast with the versatile 2017 Nissan Rogue. Display some fancy footwork with available intelligent all-wheel drive. And go for 3 with an available third row for seating up to 7. So next time you show up to support your team on the court, bring your A game and show up in a Rogue. Take on game day. Get to Nissan, proud partner of the SMU Mustangs.
This isn't going to work. No matter what we say, some people still drive drunk. But we're Budweiser, Giving a damn is what we do. So, if you think it's okay to drive drunk, if you think it's something that's debatable, or you just simply don't care, this bud is not for you. Give a damn. Don't drive drunk. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
It is the SMU Fast Track here at Humperdinck's in Dallas, here on Greenville. Scott Garner alongside head coach Tim Jankovich of the SMU men's basketball team. Well, Coach, we're going to go into our next segment that I know is a big favorite of yours. We're going to go into some questions from the audience. And before we do, though, we want to remind you that the Fast Track brought to you by the Cox School of Business, offering the new Fast Track one-year MBA designed to launch your career in just 12 months. Visit coxgrad.com for more information. Also, the Fast Track delivered to you by Nissan. A win for your team is a win for you, too. There's nothing quite like it except driving a Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com today and take on game day. Nissan, a proud sponsor of college athletics, innovation that excites. All right, Coach, we've got some questions from some loyal fans here. And our first comes from Pete in Minneapolis. He says, Coach, will you try to rest the guys a little bit more if you can the last couple of weeks of the season leading up to the conference tournament to try to conserve their legs a little bit before hopefully playing 3 games in 3 days up in Hartford?
Yes. We have 2, I guess you call week breaks. In other words, we have 1 game off. Everybody has those, in our league. We haven't had any of ours. One of them's coming up after the Central Florida game, so we're going to use some time there to rest our guys. And then right before we have one right at the end of the season as well, and we've already talked about that a few days off, body recovery, those kind of things. We took 3 days off at Christmas, and I always like to do that. I think it's very important that they just kind of recharge their battery and kind of split the season in 2. Because they work hard. They're there a lot. It's emotionally draining. It's physically draining, and I think getting away helps them a lot. So that's a great question, and the answer is yes.
All right. Very good. Well, Pete in Minneapolis, thanks for that. I kind of go back to something I was thinking about this the other day. Tom House used to be the pitching coach for the Texas Rangers, and he was really big on pitchers who would throw a lot of pitches in one given inning in an outing. He would call that inner-inning fatigue. He said, I don't care how many pitches they've thrown in a start, how many have they thrown each inning?
Wow.
What about you in terms of fatigue? What do we do to try to battle that? I look at some of our guys like Jure and even Shake. I noticed Shake the other day. He's more well-developed in his upper body than he was 3 or 4 months ago. Is this by design? Is this to try to counter the fatigue?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great strength coach. Mark does a terrific job. Warren, our trainer, is amazing. And so behind the scenes, there's a lot of things going on to help their bodies. We call it recovery after every game, and they come in and do a lot of foam rolling and stretching and stuff that I know very little about. But these guys are really bright. And they do a great job behind the scenes. Don't get enough credit, but and then of course your strength program is always critical because the better conditioning in every single way that you have, the quicker you can bounce back. So I'm so appreciative of them, and they do the best job.
How many days will they lift?
During the season, usually about 2. It's it's kind of a maintenance. It's not lengthy. It's just trying to maintain some strength and flexibility and those kinds of things. But usually during the season, we try to squeeze 2 in, and he does a great job with that.
All right, our next question comes from Andrew in Dallas. He says, have you considered having Sterling run the point more? A few games back, it gave us some good looks, and it seems like when he does, we can utilize Shake's great spot-up skills at the 2 a little bit more. And I keep forgetting to mention this. How about the last 2 games that Shake Milton has had, Coach? A sophomore, 50 points total his last 2 games, and he probably he deserves a round of applause. He's been doing absolutely magnificent, not only scoring the basketball, but what about seeing the floor more? He's getting so much better at that, Coach.
Oh, isn't he? You can see his confidence growing right in front of our face, and he's really a talent. He's incredibly poised. He came here incredibly poised. He's one of those rare guys that plays the game he sees the game slow motion, and that's a real talent. Usually you don't get that till you're much older. So he was ahead of his years in the way he approached the game, and he's got great vision. He's a tremendous shooter. Doesn't get rattled. He's got great emotional control, which I think is a big talent to have. And I'm not sure did anybody in the country have a better week than him. I don't know. I don't follow everybody, but I can't imagine too many people played better this week than he did.
No, he was really, really good. How do you, as a coach, with these young players, how can you slow the game down for them? How can you help that?
Just talking about it. Sometimes just showing them that you can slow down. When they first, almost everyone as a freshman in your first week or so against real college defense. You come to college, you play some pickup, and you're like, this didn't seem too bad. I just feel that much different. And then all of a sudden you're in a college practice at college level intensity, and you've never experienced that before. So what normally happens is you speed up and you try to outrun and outquick the defense. And what you quickly learn is that doesn't work very well. That just creates a whole bunch of turnovers, and you can't see, and the way and you always tell our players this, the way you're going too fast is if you're not seeing clearly, then you're going too fast. The floor is not going too fast. You are. Your brain is going too fast. So really just talking about it, when you see a guy that is sped up, you just calm down and slow down and see, and really that's the only way I know how to help them with that.
This is kind of coming out of left field. You know what I'm thinking about right now? I'm thinking of that momentum we had against Houston. And Shimmy Ojale he growled at the crowd. He was so excited, Coach. Did you see that when he did that?
I've kind of seen him do that a few times. Was that on his dunk? Was that one of his dunks?
I can't remember what it was, but it was unbelievable.
Well, good. Shake's been getting a little more emotional, and to me, it just means they're having fun. And I told him at the beginning of the year, I think we're all very serious about winning and competing, and this is high stakes for all of us. But at the end of the day, it needs to be really fun for them, and I love it when I see them having a lot of fun together, and when they show that kind of emotion, and when they feed off the crowd. And we have such a good home court that I can promise you it helps them have a lot of fun.
How much has the crowd helped you?
Oh my gosh, the crowd here is, since it turned on the night that we went into the new building. I can't even tell you how many games the crowd has helped us win. And I've said this a million times before, you really can never have a great program without a great home court. I believe that for a million reasons that I could or couldn't go into, but you have to have that to be a real national program. You have to have a home court, a home following, and an electric environment for many reasons, or I don't think you can sustain success. So we've been so appreciative and proud of what has taken place here, and it's helped us a great deal.
When it gets loud like that, can you hear in the huddle?
Yeah, the less I can hear, the better. The less the better. But pretty close quarters. Sometimes you lose your voice a lot of times after a game because you have to talk so loud. But hey, I'll take that any day of the week.
Coach Brown used to say that you were his right-hand man. He would go to you whenever he might be perplexed about an issue or something of that nature. Who's your right-hand man?
Oh, I don't KT Turner's our associate head coach, and KT played for me many moons ago. Ironically, we went to the same high school. That was complete just irony of the whole situation, but so we have a great history, and I have tremendous respect and trust in him. So he's our associate head coach. So, I would certainly say him.
What did Coach Brown say after the game the other night?
Oh, he's loving it. He's obviously he cares about the program, cares about our guys, and he was really enjoying it.
That's good. We'll take a break, and we will continue. It is the Fast Track here live at Humperdinck's in Greenville. And we will be back in a moment here on Legend 77.
Hey, college football fans, you already know that we live in one of the great sports cities in the country. And folks here know the best place to watch the game in the Metroplex is at Humperdinck's, Dallas's original sports restaurant and brewery. At Humperdinck's, they know how to do football. Join the fun in Addison, Arlington on Northwest Highway, or at the home of the Mustangs, Humperdinck's on Greenville Avenue, where they've been SMU proud for 40 years and counting. Great burgers, ribs, steaks, and more. They're serving food every night till 1:30 a.m. Check them out online at humperdinks.com.
Once upon a time, your car was a new car. All the latest features, that new car smell. But now, Bob has an even newer car. And your car smells like hamburger wrappers and wet dog. Bob's car has Wi-Fi. Outsmart Bob and finance your next car with Credit Union of Texas. Our competitive rates are your happily ever after. Experience more winning at CUTX.org. Loans are subject to credit approval. Federally insured by NCUA.
When it comes to your signage needs, trust the experts at Fast Signs North Central. With more than 50 years of knowledge, Fast Signs North Central will help provide you with a true turnkey experience. From branding and design work to complete production and installation, let Fast Signs North Central make your vision a reality by calling 214-890-4444 or find them online at fastsigns.com/11. Fast Signs North Central. More than fast, more than signs.
If you experience hip or knee pain, I know what you're thinking. Whew. And basically, you have two choices. You can wait until the gets so bad you can't stand it, or you can take the first step to living without right now at yourjointhealth.com. An online hip and knee assessment from the health system more people choose for joint health in North Texas. Texas Health. Visit yourjointhealth.com today.
Are you serving or have served our country? SMU's Lyle School of Engineering offers master's programs and tuition reductions for military personnel across the globe. For veterans and those in the uniformed services of the U.S., our distance education programs provide a way to help engineer our nation's future. It's just one way SMU is saying thank you to those who protect and serve our country. Check it out at lyle.smu.edu.
There are Mustangs fans. And then there are Mustangs super fans who pony up with an official SMU toll tag. That's because nothing says hail to the red and blue everywhere you drive like an NTTA SMU toll tag. Just $19.99. To get yours, stop by SMU Parking and ID Services or any toll tag store location. The SMU toll tag from North Texas Tollway Authority. Get there smarter.
It is the Fast Track here in Greenville, Dallas. Here at Humperdinck, Scott Garner alongside Tim Jankovich. And Coach, one last segment before we let you go. Obviously a big game coming up this week with UCF here in a couple of days. They, again, are 7-1 in conference. They are 17-4 overall. Maybe just some keys that you're looking at, some things that we absolutely have to do to be successful on the road coming up in a couple of days.
Well, it goes back to they're for me, the most unusual team that you could almost play in the country, and I've been thinking about that for several months, honestly. When you have a 7'6", guy, and I think he's shooting 80% from the field. Now think about that, which means he's dunking everything. How do you guard a 7'6" guy? And especially, when your tallest guy's 6'8", and your next guy's 6'6", and so I think it starts there, and then obviously you got we talked about on the offensive end. You got a shot blocker, and they're gonna really press out on the 3-point shooting, and that's difficult. So I think this is in our league we play everybody twice except for two teams, and just I don't know if it's luck of the draw or what it is, but our draw is to only play South Florida once and Central Florida once, and if you're going to draw Central Florida once, it's not all bad. You only see the 7'6" fellow one time, but that's going to be a heck of a challenge. It's not something that I've coached for years and years, and I don't know. Played against Sean Bradley years ago at Colorado State when he was at BYU, and we played Cal Irvine, if many of you remember, in the NIT, and they had I think he was about 7'5", something like that, and basically, you don't have enough experience to know how do you really handle that, and let alone your players. So it's a real challenge for everyone.
Will you have Shimmy on him?
And Ben and whoever else feels is feeling it at the time. We'll probably have more than one on him at a time. But of course, as soon as you do that, you're opening up 3-point shots and all those kind of things. I'll tell you this though, the biggest we always have no depth, of course. Not no depth, very little depth. But so we always worry about foul trouble. But that's now we're down to where we just cannot get in foul trouble. And you say, well, we could go to a zone, but how do you zone a 7'6" guy standing at the rim? So, it presents some real problems, and but hopefully, we can find answers.
A lot of coaches like to have a post like that fronted where he can't catch the pass, the entry pass. Will we just try to front him, get physical with him?
Guys that big, there's kind of a rule that I've learned and pretty much follow. A lot of coaches follow that don't front 7-footers. Very, very difficult to do. You can't get your weak side help over far enough a lot of times, and what you do is you lead them into layups and dunks. So what you have to do is try to find a way to not front them. So basically what you do is we call it the box, and the box is the catch zone, the deep catch zone. So anytime a guy is in there, you do front in the catch zone. In close quarters, you have to front where there's not enough room. He's too close to the basket to throw a lob over. But once they get to the edge of the box or the no catch zone, then you have to slide behind and try to basically push them out of the catch zone so that now you can play regular post defense. And it's something that we always do, but not against that kind of size. So it'll be one heck of a challenge to get that done without fouling.
Well, Coach, 17-4. We hope that we're 18-4
after
after Wednesday, which would put us at 8-1 in conference play. You guys are so much fun to watch. Max effort. You do a great job, and we so appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you so much. Thanks for everybody for coming. Appreciate
Coach Tim Jankovich, the head coach of the SMU men's basketball team. We'll take a break, and we will continue. I want to remind you, too, that the Texas Institute for Surgery is the first choice for care by patients and physicians, always providing unparalleled clinical excellence, care and service for every patient. Texas Institute for Surgery is a physician-owned hospital and a proud partner of SMU Athletics. We'll take a break. We will continue. We are live here at Humperdinck's on Greenville in Dallas. We're back in a moment on the SMU Fast Track.
Are you really into food? I mean, really into food? Do you slice your own bacon? Do you have a favorite squash? Do you know what truffles taste like? Can you spell bouillabaisse? Does the phrase sauce packet make you sad? When I say cheese, do you smile? Can you use udon in a sentence other than udon stop cooking? Have you ever read a cookbook and thought, now this would make a good movie? Do you like chicken piccata? Getting caught in lo mein? Are you really into food? If the answer's yes, Central Market awaits. With handmade sausages, an on-site bakery, acres of veggies, and aisles of experts, this is where you get consumed by food. Iceberg lettuce, Titanic shrimp, angel hair, and devil's food. From juicy white cherries to black molasses, Central Market is ripe with succulent samples and fresh perspective. Fill a basket with your favorites and fill your head with ideas. Central Market, for those really into food. Visit our Dallas, Plano, Fort Worth, or South Lake locations.
Highland Park and Preston Hollow Emergency Room, the official ER of SMU, and your neighborhood no-wait ER. With 2 facilities conveniently located near you, we're able to provide the Dallas area with upscale, quality care for all your emergency needs, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Visit HighlandParkER.com for more information. Highland Park and Preston Hollow ER. Pony up.
Hey, college football fans, you already know that we live in one of the great sports cities in the country. And folks here know the best place to watch the game in the Metroplex is at Humperdinck's, Dallas's original sports restaurant and brewery. At Humperdinck's, they know how to do football. Join the fun in Addison, Arlington on Northwest Highway, or at the home of the Mustangs, Humperdinck's on Greenville Avenue, where they've been SMU proud for 40 years and counting. Great burgers, ribs, steaks, and more. They're serving food every night till 1:30 a.m. Check them out online at humperdinks.com.
I drive 310 miles one way just so I can have Sewell service my vehicle because I trust them.
What could possibly make people behave this way?
I go over there sometime just to hang out.
A manner of customer service you'll find at no other dealership.
You can't beat the service anywhere else.
I don't know what my next car will be, but it will be a Sewell.
Sewell Buick GMC, proud supporter of the SMU Mustangs. Visit us at SewellBuickGMC.com. Sewell, obsessed with service since 1911.
Nothing works up an appetite more than a nail-biting, on the edge of your seat, fan-roaring Mustang basketball game. So after we swish that buzzer-beating shot, swing by Ruth's Chris for our 3-course menu, starting at just $44.95. Enjoy a complete meal that includes a starter, delicious entree, personal side dish, and, of course, some decadent dessert. Eat like a winner tonight and make your Ruth's reservation at our North Dallas location or in our new spot in Uptown at Cedar Springs and Harwood.
Back here at Humperdinck's on Greenville here in Dallas, it's the SMU Fast Track as SMU head women's basketball coach Travis Mays joining us now for the first time here on the Fast Track, I believe, Coach. Coach, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're so excited about having you here on the Hilltop as the SMU women now 11-8, 2-4 in conference play with a big win on the road at Houston over the weekend on Saturday, 66-45. It's always hard. I don't know what it is about playing down there. It's hard to get a win down there. You guys managed to make it look easy on Saturday.
No, I don't think we made it look easy. I don't know why you say that. I think the first half was a struggle. We let them get off 5 3-pointers, and I'm just glad we made the adjustment in the second half to take away their hot 3-point shooting. I thought if they didn't get transition baskets or got 3-point shots made, we had a great chance, and we were able to play a great second half.
Travis, we'll get into the team and the records and the schedule coming up here in just a moment. But talk about your time here at SMU so far, Travis. You've got such a great pedigree. You come from a great program down there at Texas, former Texas Longhorn. That's what people remember you as, and was such a great player. Talk about your style of play and what you hope to establish here with the women's team here at SMU.
Well, which question you want me to answer first? No.
Talk about your style of play. What do you like?
Well, my style of play, if you look at a perfect world, it would look a lot like what Gino is doing. He has a team that's incredible on the defensive end, but he has 5 players on the offensive end that you have to pay attention to because all 5 players are threats. Their skill sets are high. Their IQ is high. They pass the ball extremely well. And they're completely unselfish, I should say, because they don't care who makes the shot. They just makes the right basketball play all the time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I thought just from the games that I've seen us play and other teams play against UConn the other day, we held our own. I mean, they beat, was it South Florida the other day? Beat them by 65 points. That's one of the best women's defensive college basketball teams in the nation. They beat them by 65 points. We held our own. How much did we grow, do you think, in just seeing them come into Moody with that big crowd and our young players, just having a chance to watch them play, Coach?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell how much your team has actually grown until, all the cards have been laid out on the table. Maybe a full season have to be over, but I think the experience was good. What I was extremely proud of is the fact that we came out and the score was 26-2. In the first quarter. We spotted them 24 points, and after that, the second quarter, young ladies went out and competed for the next 3 quarters, and did not lay down, knowing they're playing the best team. If you look up at the score and it's 26-2, and you're playing maybe the best program in all of women's basketball history, and you still find a way to fight, any coach would be proud of that.
What makes us fight? Is it Alicia Froling?
I hope it's me.
Well, we talked earlier.
Well,
absolutely.
Well, Alicia, for sure. Alicia leads by example every single game, every practice. She practices extremely hard. I think she's the type of player that every coach would just absolutely love to coach because she's looking to get better. It's amazing. She comes in my office 4 times, out the week. She tries to come in every day, but I tell Beth to tell her I'm out at lunch or something. But no, she's fantastic. But I think the team, her teammates, watch her practice so hard that they want to play to gain the respect of Alicia, and that's a good thing.
Somebody said after we played UConn, they said Alicia Froling could play for UConn.
I think she could. But I'm glad she's playing for SMU. I don't think you need any help.
No question. Well, you talked about your style and you want your team to fight, and you really lead them to being fighters, and you have to do that. But when they make mistakes, you don't beat them down.
No, I don't believe in that. When I got the job, I remember telling the young ladies, and I meant it wholeheartedly, that I want them to enjoy their college experience. Changing the culture, changing the program is a process. And right now in that process, I don't want them to be totally driven on the results. Of course, I want to win every game we go out and play. Every 40 minutes, we want to give us our best opportunity to win the game, but that's not always where the growth comes. And if we were able to win all of these games, I don't think the true message could be fully understood. And I think they understanding that you can't shortcut it. It's not about the wins and the losses all the time. Sometimes it's how you play the game and whether you invest the time in order to get the return. And I'm sure every coach says that to his team, but I think the young ladies that was here when I arrived, they had a certain mentality, and that mentality is slowly changing. I think they're starting to trust. They're starting to believe that they can do a whole lot more than they probably thought they could.
How do you maximize their growth?
Well, you need time. One thing about it, you have to drill them and hold them to a higher standard. But only way you can maximize it is they have to own it. And right now, I think the coaching staff is still owning the practice, owning the games, holding them accountable. And once that starts in the locker room and they hold one another accountable, I think that's when you will really see the true change.
I want to remind you that at Texas Health, our rapidly expanding network makes it easier than ever to access more of the care that you need. With over 350 North Texas locations and counting, Texas Health. Find us at texashealth.org. We'll continue our conversation with head women's basketball coach for the SMU Mustangs, Coach Travis Mays, as we wrap up the Fast Track. We'll talk about South Florida coming up next. SMU Mustangs basketball continues in a moment.
Texas Institute for Surgery is a state-of-the-art physician-partnered acute care hospital that specializes in treating sports medicine, orthopedics, joint replacement, spine, and pain management, among many other clinical services. Texas Institute for Surgery has earned the reputation of providing the best in surgical care. Texas Institute for Surgery, the first choice for care by physicians and patients. Go to TexasInstituteForSurgery.com for more information. Texas Institute for Surgery is a physician-owned hospital.
Hi there, this is Jason Witten. You know, on the football field, I like to be known as the go-to guy. Just like Albertsons is the go-to place for beef, especially since they only sell the best. USDA Choice Beef. USDA Choice Beef at Albertsons is always tender, always full of flavor. So when you want a tender, juicy steak or roast, go to the go-to place for USDA Choice Beef. Albertsons.
Albertsons. It means a great deal.
Your neighbors get a new car. You get a better car. They went to a dealership. You went to Credit Union of Texas. Use the money you save financing with CUTX to buy something awesome, like a swimming pool full of money. Your neighbors don't have a swimming pool full of money. Now the Joneses are keeping up with you. Experience more victory at CUTX.org. Loans are subject to credit approval. Federally insured by NCUA.
I drive 310 miles one way just so I can have Sewell service my vehicle because I trust them.
What could possibly make people behave this way?
I go over there sometime just to hang out.
A manner of customer service you'll find at no other dealership.
You can't beat the service anywhere else.
I don't know what my next car will be, but it will be a Sewell.
Sewell Cadillac, a proud supporter of the SMU Mustangs. Visit us at SewellCadillac.com. Sewell, obsessed with service since 1911.
Back here at Humperdinck's on Greenville in Dallas. Scott Garner with Travis Mays, the head women's basketball coach for the SMU women. We just got about a minute or so here, Travis. You've got a tough South Florida team at home here on Wednesday night. That's going to be a 7 o'clock game at Moody Coliseum. They always play great defense. What are a couple of keys, Coach?
Well, first you need to talk about the offense. The defense is really, really good. And watching film, South Florida probably has the best help defense in the conference next to UConn. Every time someone penetrates the lane, the help is always there. And but on the offensive end, we have to get their transition stopped. They great 3-point shooters, 1 through 4, and that's their tempo. It's an up-tempo style. They're looking to shoot it as frequent as possible. We're going to have to play our tempo in order to beat them, and I think they're beatable.
Well, Coach Mays, we welcome you to the Hilltop, and we thank you so much for being here tonight. Always good to talk SMU women's basketball, and let's get a W on Wednesday.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, Coach Travis Mays as the SMU Mustangs take on South Florida. The men on the road taking on Central Florida on Wednesday. That's an early game. By the way, if you're an SMU men's fan, that is a 5 o'clock tip Central Time on Wednesday, 5 o'clock Central Time. Thanks to Mike Sage for helping us out here at Humperdinck's here in Greenville. Thanks to Herman Hudson, Travis Chambly. My name is Scott Gardner. Until next time, from Humperdinck's, good evening, everyone, and good night.
From Learfield on the Mustang Sports Network. Live from Humperdinck's on Greenville Avenue. The Fast Track with Tim Jankovich has been brought to you by Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Innovation that excites. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, proud sponsors of SMU Athletics. Credit Union of Texas. Be a part of something unexpected. CUTX.org. Experience more. Also by NTTA. Save money on North Texas toll roads with an SMU toll tag. Texas Institute for Surgery. Always providing unparalleled clinical excellence, care, and service for every patient. Texas Institute for Surgery is a physician-owned hospital. And by Humperdinck's on Greenville Avenue with daily food and drink specials. Join the MVP Club today. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Mustang Sports Network.